Okay, we better start. Other students will join soon.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah.
everybody. Welcome. Thank you for attending Griffith University online seminar. Griffith University recorded the highest student satisfaction rating in Australia and also globally. Griffith has several top ranking subjects, such as hospitality and tourism management, and engineering, and nursing and midwifery, include dentistry as well, medicine and dentistry. So today we have Samantha from Griffith, and then she will help us to find out more about medicine and dentistry in detail, and then she will answer your questions. Okay, Samantha?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so my name's Sam, and I am from Griffith Uni. So I'm the regional marketing manager. I look after Australia and New Zealand. But I actually was also a Griffith student myself. So I studied a Bachelor of International Business and Finance and had a really positive experience. I got to do lots of overseas placements and exchange programs. I got to do internships and work with uh, do some internships here in Brisbane. And I was involved in all different clubs and societies. So I have a lot of love for Griffith, and I had a really good time as a student. So I'm going to take you through just a few of our key selling points and sort of show you guys where Griffith is and our campuses. So, sorry. So a little bit about our university. So we try to think of ourselves as a different kind of university. So we're not a traditional university in the sense. We're definitely a innovative and forward-thinking university. And we do like to make sure that all of our programs and the way that we, I guess, behave is always equitable and environmentally sustainable. And you could see that in our campuses. When you come onto our campus, we have a lot of our buildings that are solar paneled and have wind turbines. We also have programs like environmental science and sustainability instilled in a lot of our programs, as well as we have a lot of support systems, and we're a very equitable university. Our degrees are designed to prepare students for employment. So our degrees are actually designed with a consultation with industry. So we would talk to people in specific industries to make sure that our students are getting the skills they need to succeed when they graduate. We have a big international focus. So we have a large range of international students, but also we have a lot of international lecturers, and a lot of our programs have an international lens, and we look through things in an international scope. We're a very young university, so we're the top 50 universities under 50 years old, and we're really proud of how quickly we are climbing in the rankings every single year. This year, we went up in all of the university rankings, so we're really proud of that. So we're ranked in the top 2% of universities worldwide, and being 45 years old, to be ranked to the top 2% of universities is an amazing feat. And as I mentioned before, big commitment to sustainability and equality. And we've also got amazing teachers. So in the last 5 years, we've won more awards than any Australian university for the Australian Teacher of the Year. So 3 times in the last 5 years, we have won that award. So we're really proud of that as well. Oh, this is accidentally swapped. So I'm really sorry. Let me see. There we go. Ignore that. So when it comes to our global rankings, we are #1 in Australia for nursing. We're #1 in Australia for law and criminology, and we're #1 in Australia for hospitality and leisure management. On top of that, we are also in the top 100 in the world for our ocean engineering, education, dentistry and oral health, computer science and engineering, energy science, water resources, and geography. So if you have a look at how many of our subject areas rank #1 in Australia or rank highly in Australia, it actually ranks our university overall as 9th in Australia in both the QS and Shanghai rankings. So again, really proud of that, because a lot of the universities that are beating us have, you know, been around for probably double the amount of time that we have. So they're a lot older and have a lot of their faculties with, you know, research and all of that sort of thing. So we have 6 campuses. We have over 40,000 students, close to 50,000, and about 20% of our students are international. And we actually have a very diverse range of students. So 130 nationalities, but we don't have one specific nationality that we recruit from. We are very evenly spread across a number of different nationalities. So a little bit about us. We have 6 campuses, 5 physical campuses and our digital campus. So our 5 physical campuses go across both Gold Coast and Brisbane. And for those of you who haven't been over here, I thought I'd put a little photo of Brisbane. This is actually right near my apartment in Kangaroo Point, and that's the city there. And then you have the Gold Coast, which is an hour south of Brisbane. And Brisbane has about 3.5 million people living here. The Gold Coast is about 600,000. And the Gold Coast runs all the way down along the beachfront. So it's 60 kilometers long. And it's quite, a long, narrow beach city. So our 5 campuses, Nathan is our main campus in Brisbane. And this campus is about 10, 15 minutes out of the city and about 20 minutes via bus. So this is where we do a range of programs. We have our business, our law, IT. We do a few of our health programs here, engineering sciences. We also have aviation and forensic science on this campus. But yeah, it is got about 12,000 students. And as you can see, it is a very relaxing campus. It's built into the Tui Forest. So we often see koalas on campus, possums, snakes, lizards, birds. It's very tranquil and it feels very Australian. On the other side of the highway, we have our Macrobat campus. This is where we do psychology, criminology, and education. It's also where our Griffith College campus is based. For those of you who are interested in things like visual creative arts, we do have our South Bank campus, which is where we have the film school, which does animation, film, and games design. We have the College of Art, which does things like sculpture, painting, 3D design, graphic design. And we have the Conservatorium, which is music, musical theatre, and acting. At the moment, the Conservatorium is the number one creative arts school in Australia, and our film school is the number 1 film school in Australia. Logan campus is a small little campus in between Brisbane and Gold Coast. And I guess our biggest and our most popular campus is our Gold Coast campus. So we have 20,000 students on this campus, and this is where we do majority of our programs. We have our business law, humanities, engineering sciences, IT, education, but a big emphasis on our Gold Coast campus are our health programs. So we actually have the largest range of health programs out of any university in Australia. We have medicine, dentistry, occupational therapy, nutrition, dietetics, psychology, counselling, social work, exercise science, physiotherapy, dentistry, nursing, midwifery. We have a large range of health programs. And as you can see here, our campus is to the right, and to the left, all those buildings on the left-hand side is actually the Gold Coast Hospital and the Gold Coast Private Hospital. So this is about 1,000 beds between them. And it really does allow for a good sharing of information from the university to the hospitals. And it's also, you know, a good opportunity for our students if they do want to do placement. But yeah, altogether, this area here is called the Gold Coast Health and Knowledge Precinct, because right behind the hospitals, we also have a dedicated research centres for health. So yeah, if anyone is interested in studying those programs, this is definitely where you want to go. In the very middle of the picture, you have our health centre, which is 10 stories high. That's where we have our own operating dental clinic. We have physiotherapy clinics. We have psychology clinics. And also at the very top level of this building, we have our anatomy labs. And they are the largest anatomy labs in the Southern Hemisphere and also Australia. We can have up to 200 students obviously before COVID, in the anatomy labs working on different body, body parts and things like that. That was the health and knowledge precinct I just mentioned before. So really good spot if anyone is interested in health or health research specifically, this would be where you want to go. So another little thing as well that makes the Gold Coast such an amazing destination is that it's been made regional. So in Australia, we have regional areas, and these will actually attract additional points for students who want to apply for PR, or they also provide an additional year on a student's post-study work visa. So in Australia, when you complete a degree, you will be entitled to 2 years post-study work visa. If you were to study on the Gold Coast, you will get 3 years. So just a little bit about the Gold Coast for you guys. As I mentioned, it is based along some of the best beaches in the world. We have about 300 days of sunshine a year. It's normally warm all the time here, not too warm, but quite humid. We have the largest subtropical rainforests in the world, but also a real vibrant mix of shopping and restaurants, bars. There are festivals and markets. The Gold Coast is 1 hour drive to Brisbane and also 1 hour drive to Byron Bay, which is quite a popular spot in Australia where, a lot of the Hollywood stars live. Hemsworths live there. Also beautiful beaches down there too. The Gold Coast has its own international airport and is also very close to Brisbane. And it's actually ranked #1 for affordability in Australia. So Gold Coast is 40% cheaper for rent than Sydney. And also Queensland is the only state in Australia that offers 50% off public transport to international students. So for our students here, a bus is about $1.50 to $2, and the train, to the Gold Coast from Brisbane, for example, is about $4 or $5. So I just quickly also wanted to put this slide in because I think it's really important. We often get asked about where are the jobs going to be? And obviously studying in a regional area, sometimes people are concerned that that's not where the growth in industry is. However, I pulled this data from the the Australian government website, and this is actually a predictor of the next 5 years of industry growth. So as you can see, Melbourne, obviously 1, 2, and 3, but Gold Coast is the second city here that has been mentioned for growth. And out of all of this list, it is the only regional city that's been mentioned. So, it is definitely where there's a lot of jobs happening and there's a lot of growth happening here in Queensland. Especially this year, we found that a lot of people have been moving up from Sydney and Melbourne because it seems to be that Queensland is escaping a lot of the COVID scare this year. And obviously also we have better weather and it's cheaper up here as well. So a little bit more about Griffith. We have trimesters at Griffith, so that does allow for students to have a little bit more flexibility with the way they study their programs. It can allow you to accelerate your program as well. There only are a few degrees that will be fully accelerated, and one of them is our medical science program, which is 3 years condensed into 2 using trimesters. The other one is our aviation program. So just a few things as well on career and employment, because obviously that is a really important thing that students are looking for when coming to study at a university. So we have a careers and employment service that is there to assist you with a range of different things, from how to apply for jobs, writing resumes. They have career fairs. They will put you in contact to get an industry mentor. They also can help you find paid work as well. So they're a really great resource. And I also just wanted to mention that pretty much every single one of our degrees, apart from our research programs, have practical placement. So students have that option to be able to go and do community internships, internships in industry. We also have our clinical placements and our placements for education students. But also we have companies on campus that support our students. So those who are doing IT, we have an app factory on campus. So students can actually work with clients in developing apps. We have a design studio for our design students on campus. As I mentioned before, we have all the clinics for our health students on campus. So there is lots of opportunity for students to be working in industry and working on their skills with how to, manage clients and look after patients and communicate in their jobs. Another thing I wanted to mention is our Mates program. So our Griffith Mates program is a club and society that we have at the university, one of hundreds. And this one is actually dedicated to supporting international students. So it was designed to support students to be able to practice their English. So, students are able to meet up. We have coffee meetups. We have barbecues, trivia nights. They also run excursions through this program. So students can go out and do beach excursions and bush excursions. And they'll also set you up with a buddy. So we have an international student buddy program. And when students come into our Mates club at the start of the year, they will get paired up with a buddy who will be able to support them with things like, where to borrow a library book or how to get an extension on an assignment, where's the best coffee on campus. Then when students are in their second and third years, they're actually able to apply to be a mentor themselves and look after their own buddies, which is obviously great leadership experience. And there are also opportunities for them to go on and get further paid work. Now, for those of you who potentially might not have your English, we do have an English school at the university. It's called GELI, and we run a direct entry program. So this is for the majority of our degrees, apart from things like nursing, which you still will be required to have an English score. But our direct entry program allows students to come in, complete 10, 20, 30 weeks of English. And once they've finished those weeks, they're then able to progress onto their degree without sitting an additional English test. We also have an online test that students can do that will place them into a specific level at GELI, so they know how many weeks they'll need to do. They won't need to do a test to then come into GELI, like an IELTS test. They can do the free test with us online. We also have Griffith College, which is our preferred provider when it comes to diplomas. So if you potentially don't have the academic entry to get into one of our programs, you can go through a diploma pathway. And the diplomas are set up to mimic the first year of a university degree. So students can come and do 1 year diploma with Griffith College, and it will feed into the second year of a corresponding Griffith program. We have 3 main scholarships for our international students, and they are the Merit, the Excellence, and the Remarkable Scholarship. So our Merit Scholarship offers 20% tuition, 20% off our tuition fees for the duration of the program. And this requirement is for students to receive the equivalent of a ATAR of 79, or that could be a GPA of 5 out of 7. If you go onto our scholarship website, we actually have a PDF that will outline all of the entry requirements for our scholarships. And then our Excellent Scholarship is 25% for the duration of the program. And these will apply to any of our degrees. They also will, we don't have a quota on these scholarships. So every student that meets the eligibility will receive a scholarship. You don't need to make an application. It will be automatically applied to your offer when you apply to the university. Now, our Remarkable Scholarship, which is 50%, does require a separate application, and it will require a personal statement, and that is 50% off your tuition fees for the duration of your program. The other thing I quickly wanted to mention is our peer-to-peer program. So if you are thinking about coming and studying here in Queensland, in Australia, and you want to know a little bit more about what it's like to study at Griffith or study on the Gold Coast or study biomedical science, you can go onto our website and we have 10 student ambassadors on there that are available all the time. They reply normally really quickly, up to 24 hours response time, and they will be able to answer any questions you have. So you could go and select students that are studying programs you're interested in, or you can choose to pick students that have a similar nationality or language background as you. So that's everything that I wanted to touch on for Griffith, but I am very happy to take questions. And if you are interested in our medicine and dentistry, I'm happy to talk through our pathways for that, or alternative options if you don't get your first preference. But yeah, let me know if anyone has any questions, or if anyone from IAE has questions, I can help with that as well.
Yes, I have a question from students. They want to know how competitive for medicine and dental first year. I mean, to enter for the course.
Yeah, so both of them are extremely competitive. Probably we are one of the most competitive universities in Australia. That's because we rank very, very highly, and we have the proximity close to the hospital. So our dental science program is a Bachelor of Dental Science, and that is at the moment is an ATAR of 99.7, so very high in comparison to some of the other universities. If you don't get directly into that program, I would recommend studying 1 year at a university level, and you would probably wanting to be getting close to near perfect GPA to be able to then reapply for that program and come in the first year. If you came to our university, you could select something like health science, which has a similar first year, and you might be able to get credit for certain programs. But that's probably what I would recommend if you're wanting to get into dentistry. Our medical program, we offer an undergraduate pathway and a postgraduate pathway. So if you're wanting to get into our Bachelor of Medical Science, it is also an ATAR of 99. And if you are unable to get into that, unfortunately, that's your only option. It's for school leavers. So if you can't get into that program, what you would do is do any undergraduate program and then apply for our Doctor of Medicine. So our Doctor of Medicine is a 4-year postgraduate program, and the entry for that is any bachelor's degree. It could be music, could be law, but you really want to have a high GPA. And you also want to sit GAMSAT or ISAT test, and then use that as well as an interview to get into our Doctor of Medicine. Our Doctor of Medicine has about 150 places a year. So as I said, it's quite competitive to get in. I think dentistry also has about 150 places. So yeah.
And I have many questions about the UCAT test. To enter dentistry science.
You won't need UCAT.
Right.
No, not at the moment, not for next year.
Oh, right.
We don't require UCAT or no undergraduate tests are needed to get into our health programs.
Including medicine?
Including medicine, and unless you're trying to apply for the postgraduate medicine, then you need ISAT or GAMSAT. But our undergraduate medicine and our undergraduate dentistry don't require any additional tests. They're going to be based off your score alone.
Right. And then other question from the student who is studying Auckland University for health science first year. If he, when he finished, is it possible to transfer to MD course or sorry, the science medicine program?
So as I just mentioned, our Bachelor of Medical Science, as it's an accelerated program, it feeds students directly into the Doctor of Medicine. Students can't enter that program without applying through high school or coming into the first year. So you won't be able to go to university and then apply for our medical science program. You will need to complete your bachelor's degree and then apply to our Doctor of Medicine. However, dentistry, you can apply using your first year of a university degree.
Okay, thank you. Any question?
Hi, sorry, just wondering for the Doctor of Medicine, like the graduate pathway, do you guys like require UCAT or like just ISET and GAMSAT?
I believe it was GAMSAT and ISAT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like also interviews or not really? Okay, yeah.
So for the Doctor of Medicine, the postgraduate Doctor of Medicine, which is a 4-year program after you've studied something else, students will need to have, look, it says on our website a GPA above 5, but realistically, you'll probably need at least 6.5 out of 7. Then you need to do MCAT or GAMSAT, it says here MCAT, and an interview.
So that's for international students, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
It's okay. Yeah, so also for any students obviously studying, if you guys are based in New Zealand, both our medicine and our dental programs, you will need to be in country to complete those programs. So you can do the first trimester offshore or overseas, but I would recommend that as soon as the borders open back up, if you were interested to come over, because they are obviously practical programs and you will need to be here in country. For our other programs, we are a little bit more flexible and we do allow students to start online offshore with us. And we have a whole suite of support services available for students studying virtually. But yeah, those health programs are definitely, you will need to be here for your placements.
Catherine, do you have any question about?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Also,
yeah.
just for the interview, is it like many interviews or is it like other format?
It just says interview. I'm not actually sure, but I do know that the interview is something that would normally happen if you've met the other requirements. So that's kind of the final stage. Let me just have a look and see.
Thank you.
It just says medical selection interview, and they can be conducted via Skype.
Oh yeah, great. Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, and then with the test, you can either do MCAT or GAMSAT.
Yeah.
So they do have interview, online interview, right?
Yeah, so and also it is saying that you can start this program for the first year offshore. So yes, you can do all of that, but then after that you will need to be here. So that's why everything should be online.
What is it like about the interview? The students they're worried about the interview.
I don't think, I think the purpose of the interview is what they want for a doctor is they want someone who is empathetic, who is good with communicating, good with their people skills. So I think that's why that interview element is there, because the students are obviously extremely smart, having had such a high GPA and performing really well in the tests. The interview is just there to make sure that students have those people skills to be able to work with patients. I don't think the interview would weigh very, very, like the interview's there to make sure that the students are personable, but I don't think the interview would massively tip up someone who hasn't performed that well in the tests. I think you need to do very well, and then the interview is kind of for them just to confirm that you have those people skills to be a doctor, to be able to work with other people. So I wouldn't be scared of the interview. I think it's all about, they want to get to know you. They want to know your motives. They want to understand, you know, why you want to be a doctor and how you communicate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone has any question? They are so quiet. Unusual.
When it comes to our medicine and our health programs, our nursing medicine, we have placement officers. So some of our students will be placed at the hospital directly next to the university, but depending on what specialization you're rotating through, for nursing, obviously, students will go and do mental health as well as aged care. So that could depend. But we do have placement officers. So they are there to really try and support our students. And if you live in a specific area of the Gold Coast, they'll try and make sure your placement is closer to where you are. If you don't have a car, they'll try and make sure it's, you know, close to public transport. So they provide a lot of support to make sure that our students are happy with their placement and that they are, you know, have the best placement possible.
So they don't worry about the placement, right? The university will arrange all students placement. Yes.
Yeah. All of our health programs, the amount of hours needed to register is included in the program, and we organize that for them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I just have another question about the Doctor of Medicine.
Yeah.
So for the undergrad degrees, what kind of degrees do we need? Is it like any of them is fine, or is it from like biomed or like pharmacy?
Yeah. So this is a very personal decision, but what I would recommend is, so you can do anything that you like before you apply to our Doctor of Medicine. Obviously, most people will pick a health pathway because it kind of sets them up nicely, and sort of that's what they're passionate about. So if you want to do something like biomedical science as the undergrad, the only thing that I would suggest, and this is the same at all universities, is just have a think about what happens if you don't get into medicine. So if you're wanting to go through biomedical science and you're 100% going to back yourself that you're going to get into medicine, that is obviously going to be the best pathway because it sets you up perfectly for medicine. And that is actually the students that are doing our medical science program, which leads into the Doctor of Medicine. That's the degree that they're doing. It's an accelerated version. My only issue with something like biomedical science is unfortunately, if you don't get into the Doctor of Medicine, that degree doesn't actually lead to a career in working with patients. So if you're really passionate about working with patients and working in hospitals, you might be better off doing an undergraduate in pharmacy, psychology, nursing, because if you don't get into medicine, then you'll still be a nurse or a psychologist or a physiotherapist or, you know, a pharmacist. If you complete the 3-year biomedical science, and not just here at any university, biomedical science only actually allows you to be a scientist. So you'll be working with samples, you'll be doing research. And if that's what you're interested in, then I would do that pathway. But if that's not what you're not interested in, I would definitely say, have a look. We have a pharmacology, which is our precursor to pharmacy. It's 3 years. So then if you get into medicine, you go into medicine. If you don't, you do a 1-year honors and you can become a pharmacist. Or nursing is obviously a good one as well. So I would definitely recommend looking at some of those other pathways. People also say something like psychology is good for the GAMSAT test, because the GAMSAT test is all based on how people's emotions and how people's behavioral, that's what the whole test is about, apparently. So psychology helps for that. But I would honestly go with whatever you want. Go with what you think you're going to get the best GPA in. If you're very good at maths and science, it might be smarter for you to go and do something like engineering, or you know what I mean? So have a think about that. Biomedical science sounds like the perfect pathway, but I personally don't really like to push that onto people because I think sometimes it will lead them to having to start all over again in a career.
Yeah, true. You mentioned pharmacology. Like, what's the difference between that and pharmacy?
So essentially they're a very similar program. Pharmacology and toxology is the program before you become a pharmacist. So pharmacy, when you register to be a pharmacist, it will allow you to dispense medicines and drugs, and you'll be working in hospitals, and you can work with, you know, looking at patients' recoveries and things like that. Pharmacology and toxology is more if you're wanting to work for like a pharmaceutical company. So maybe you would be working for a specific medicine and you understand how it works, and you would go around and supply that to all the doctors, or you would work on research on how medicines affect people, clinical trials, those sort of things. So the pharmacology and toxology is 3 years. And then if you want to become a registered pharmacist, you could do a year of honors, which is 4 years, which is what our Bachelor of Pharmacy is. But you probably don't want to do a 4-year undergraduate degree if you're hoping to go into medicine. You probably want to stick to 3. So that's why I just said pharmacology or psychological science. And then if you want to become a psychologist, you do your year of honors.
Yeah, thank you.
That's okay. But so if anyone does have any more questions, what I'll do, I am more than happy for you guys to send me through an email. We have really, really nice, hold on, I'm trying to share my screen with you, sorry. If you can see that. We have amazing health facilities, and obviously our Gold Coast campus is of real good benefit to international students. So, or if anyone makes it over here and they want a campus tour, please send me through an email. My email's on the screen. Hopefully, I don't know. It is. Yeah. Send me through an email. Otherwise, obviously the guys at IAE will be able to support you guys as well. And if you have any further questions, they can talk you through the application process, the scholarship process, all those sort of things.
Yes, thank you. If you have any question, yes, please email Samantha or us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I hope you guys get out of lockdown soon. I know it's not very fun. Majority of Australia is in lockdown at the moment. So we need to be out for summer so we can go and have some barbecues and hop in the pool.
In the Gold Coast every time, yes.
I can't wait. It's just getting warm and I'm thinking, oh, I might go to the beach. I might, yeah, it's exciting.
Gold Coast actually.
Nice. Brisbane's nice too. I live in Brisbane now. I grew up on the Gold Coast, but I live in Brisbane. It's beautiful.
It is. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Friday.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.